Hello, and welcome back to my podcast. And today is going to be a quick episode, and it's going to be more of a story time, if you will. So, I was watching a video. It was just one of those little Facebook stories, and it asked the question, what is the thing that almost killed you? And so it got me to thinking about a time back in the 90s where I found out that I was in a situation that I had no idea about. So have you ever heard the term, or not even a term, when you talk about prayer and you ask for protection from dangers seen and unseen? And it talks, we've all been in discussion about, how we pray over ourselves or how other people may be praying on our behalf. And there may have been things that were going to happen where you had protection that you didn't even know about. So that happened to me actually a couple of times. Most people who know me as a bubbly person, friendly person. And in the 90s, I would have to say that I was probably a little, I don't want to say fast. Well, yeah, there was even a time when I was in the clubs a lot and I hung out a whole lot. But I've always been a person who was talkative and hung with people and things of that nature. And so even just sitting here, just recording this podcast, I came up with another situation where there was something that almost killed me. So let's just get into it. So back in the 90s, like I said, it was a different time for me. I hung out in clubs a lot. It was nothing for me back in those days to leave the club with someone. We go to their house, watch movies, hang out, or they might come to my house. If we met early enough, we might go to a movie, whatever. The level of paranoia that I have today in 2022 was nothing. I had nothing like that in me back then. Totally different person. And so on this particular night, I met this guy in a club. It was early. We went to his home and we sat and we talked, we made out, and while we were on the couch, he put his hands on my shoulders and he just kind of pressed down. And I thought, okay, is this guy about to give me a massage? What's going on here? But nothing happened. So we start kissing again. And when we walked into his apartment, it was pretty dark. But when we got ready to leave, he got up and he went to the restroom and he came back and he turned on the lights. So as we're walking out, I see like 3 or 4 pictures of this young lady on his entertainment stand. And I'm like, who is this? And he says the girl's name and he says, that's my ex-girlfriend. And I'm like, okay, your ex-girlfriend, if she's your ex, why do you still have pictures of her? That's what I'm thinking in my head. But honestly, I knew I probably wasn't going to see him again. I didn't think anything of it. Like, I didn't care enough. I won't say I didn't think anything of it, but I didn't care enough to address the situation because I knew there was nothing to this. So as we're standing there looking at this young lady's pictures and we're having this conversation, he stands behind me. He takes both of his hands. He places them this time like almost around my neck and he squeezes firmly. And I'm like, well, she's really pretty. She's a pretty girl. You know how to pick them. And it was almost like he jumped and he's like, come on, let's get out of here. Fast forward about 1.5 years, 2 years later, I'm standing in the apartment complex where my mother lives. and it's called Winding Hills. So a car comes up into the parking lot. I was standing on the sidewalk, and when cars rode down the street, if you drove down the street, if you looked over to the left, you would see me standing there. So this Honda pulls up, and it's that guy. And he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's in the car with another guy. Well, in the meantime, my friend Regina walks out of the apartment building, and she starts cussing. She starts flipping out. She is like, "I know you're not talking to that MFer. Get the F away from me. I'll kill you. I'll kill you." She turns around and she looks at me. She has tears in her eyes. She said, "That MFer killed my cousin." And I was just like stunned. And I said, "What?" She said, "Let's go. Come get in here. Come on." By now, he and this guy have pulled out of the parking lot and sped off. He turned beet red when he saw her. And she is not a small woman. She's like 6 foot tall, 200 some, maybe 300 pounds. She's a big lady. She's like an Amazon. Very well proportioned. Let me state that. Very well built. But she was not to be played with, okay? And he speeds off. So she takes me into her apartment. She goes, she gets a glass of water. She tells me that he used to date her cousin. And I guess they were kind of creeping around with each other because he had a girlfriend. Well, apparently someone came into into her cousin's home, strangled her, choked her to death, placed her in her bed. Whoever it was then proceeded to clean the house with I guess bleach or whatever, and left. He was a suspect in the case, but apparently, I guess it was circumstantial evidence. There wasn't enough to pin him, with the crime, to convict him of the crime. But I guess it was a known thing that they believe that he is the one who killed her cousin. And when she told me that he strangled her, I told her everything. I said, we went to his house, and I said, he stood me. And now that I think of the way he pressed on my shoulders when we were on the couch, and then how he put his hands up closer to my neck and he squeezed hard. If I hadn't said, "Oh, she's pretty," I wanted to say something to throw him off. Thank God. Because who knows what could have happened. And she's like, "Don't ever go around him. Don't ever speak to him." I said, we don't have that to worry about. I definitely had no thoughts of ever speaking to him. Period. And it just blew my mind, because I just kept flashing back to when we were standing there, and the apartment was over by 11th Avenue, where 11th kind of goes down and meets 5th. There's Leonard and 11th, and it's kind of a little out of the way area. It was crazy. But I honestly can say that I don't know if I would be here. I think that things could have gone very, very differently for me that night. So I'm grateful for that. Now I will share with you the next situation. So I'm in line at Kroger, and everyone is just talking because we're in line for customer service. So there's this man in front of me, and he's talking to me, and he has a tattoo. And I said, "Oh, Martini." And he says, Yeah, that's my nickname. I said, oh, well, I know a hairstylist by the name of Martini. He says, I know him. Yeah, tell him you met the real Martini. And he says, I do home security. You ought to let me come to your house and hook up a security system for you. And I'm like, oh, well, no, no, thank you. I'm good, but I appreciate it. My brain, again, early 90s, not even thinking, should have said, oh, I have a security system. I'm just like, no, thank you. So he just keeps going on and on about how, oh, well, you can ask Martini about me. I'm a good person, and, I'll come over there free of charge, and, I can tell you exactly what you need, and I'll give you a good deal. Here, just write down your address for me. And so then I said, well, I have to ask my man if that's okay, but, I'll take your card. So he gives me his card. And as we're walking up again, he says, well, I can come by anytime if you just give me your address. So finally, I'm like, no, I'm good. Thank you. But, I'll get in touch with you if I need this. So I go ahead. I think I was there cashing a check or something. So something tells me when I walk out the door, I'm going to my car, but something was like, turn around. I turn around. This dude is watching me to see where I go. So now I'm like, okay, how do I do this? So I start walking, and I walk away from where my car is. So I walk, I turn, I go into like between the cars or whatever. So I look back and make sure he's not still there. So then I walk to my car and I pull off. I kid you not. 6 months later, we're watching the news. Such and such Martini is arrested for a cold case murder that he committed years earlier. He went to the woman's house and connected a security system for her, and he came back and he murdered her, and they DNA placed him at the scene of the crime. And this man was trying to get my address so he could come and hook up a security system for me. And he was such a good guy, and I could ask people about him and yada 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 yada. So those were two instances in which things could have gone terribly wrong. I am grateful that they did not, but that's why we ask to be protected from danger seen and unseen, because we just never know what is going on out there. So yeah, when I saw that little video, and I was like, what's the thing that almost took you out? Well, there you have it. 2 different people that I met just in passing. Just one was a situation where I was just out in the club, clubbing it up like it was no big deal back then. It's not to say that people weren't getting hurt or things weren't happening back then, but my mindset was not the same. So I didn't think anything of it. And to find out about his history, it made me more on edge. And thank God that happened, because when the situation happened with Mr. Martini, I was like, nope, you don't need to come to my house. Just give me your card. Don't call us. We'll call you. It changed me. And I have a friend who, he always says that the things that are happening to us now prepare us for things that we will experience later. And that is so true. I'm so grateful for the things that I've learned, because they prepared me as they say, this prepared me for a time such as this. I am grateful because indeed the next time, I knew how to behave. My mindset is so, I'm paranoid these days. I don't trust anybody as far as I can throw them. or would throw them with my eyes. I just, I'm a totally different person these days. But back then, now I'm bubbly in word. Back then I was bubbly in word and deed. Oh, let's hang out. Oh, let's go shopping together. Oh, come on by. That is not the case these days. So yeah, that was a little bit of a story time for you. If you have any other topics that you would like for me to discuss, feel free to let me know here. And sorry if this one is a little rushed, but I have vowed that I will be producing a podcast at least once a week. I may try to do a couple each week to kind of build up my content and, just make sure that you have something new to listen to weekly. So this one was a bit of a rush job because it is now 11:51 p.m. on March 17th. And this is down to the wire. I got really, really close to crossing over to the next day, but I did it. I got it in, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you will come back to listen to my next podcast. Until then, I hope everything goes well with you. I hope you're being safe, and just come back and hang out with me. Bye.